back to my channel. My name is T and I love all things skin and beauty, and today we're doing look number 2 using the new Byredo Vesuvio palette. My last video I had so much fun geeking out about this palette and just showing my art history creative side of me, and so far I've enjoyed the palette. I'm definitely curious about the look that I will be coming up with for look number 2. I kind of want to focus more on the top row. So let's see if we can come up with a look that is, different from previous, but also just really only uses the main row for the type of eyeshadow look that I will be coming up with. So let's see if I can do just that. All right, I quickly did my base off camera. I am using Danessa Myricks, the Blurring Balm Skin Tint in 8.5. I use the Sephora Mattifying powder for the under eye. For concealer, I went back with the Catrice True Skin concealer. I am in the shade 92 Warm Spices. I then went in with NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop Mattifying powder for all over the face. And then after that, for blush, I went in with the Tower 28 blush and Downtown Daiquiri. I have been loving this blush. It goes so well with like any look. It's not too red, it's not too bright, it's just good. I love it. What else? For lips, I went in with the Maybelline Glaze Oil Balm in Latte Crush. For lip liner, I went in with the Juvia's Place Luxe Lip Liner and Cola. For setting spray, I'm always going in with Fix It, Forget It. And what else? For bronzer, I went in with the One Size Trio. It is the Deep Trio face palette. I normally go in with Pay No Mind and Serve together. These two here. And for brows, I went in with the Sephora Fluff and Fix Brow Wax. And that's pretty much what's on my face. So I'm going to put this aside and we are just going to get started on the eye look. Now for primer, I always use NYX, and then for any shimmer or glittery sparkly things, I go in with the NYX glitter primer. But now we can get started with this palette, the Vesuvio palette. It's just stunning. And I can't wait to play with this some more. I probably already posted swatches of each, shade and what each formula is for which. But I also have my notes, just so I can be at least somewhat accurate with which type of formula is for which a shade, and the finish and things like that. So I already primed my eyelids. I think for me, it's definitely concentrating on the first row. And I just have it upside down just to make it easier and so I don't blind you guys. But it's just, this first row here that I really want to concentrate on, creating a look. And I might go in with the deepest matte in the palette. At least in this palette, because again, Bibliophilia has the darkest matte shades in the 15 or palette, 18 palette, you know, catalog that Byredo has right now. And again, this is limited edition. It's still available on the website. And I think the price is obviously, you know, it's kind of like priced as like motherships. It's like 115 plus taxes. You could get it on the website or Selfridges. I got it on the Byredo website. And it has a 12-month shelf life. Obviously, we keep it longer. I have motherships that are way longer and they work just fine. So I'm not too worried about that. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's, you know, pretty much it on my part. We're gonna get started on this look here using the first row. Now, whenever I start a look, I always like to go in with the deepest matte. So I'm first going in with burnt umbre on the outer corner to create that shape and sort of that mapping. And then whatever gets lost, I can always, you know, go back. But I typically like to put mattes down first before I move on with, you know, shimmers and things like that. Just because I don't want other formulas mixing with each other. I don't want my mattes to end up having, you know, any shimmer or sparkly things like over there, cross-contamination. And so I just prefer to do it this way. I'm kind of going a little bit deeper than previously because I do want a more kind of grungy yet kind of natural look today. I don't want it to be too crazy because I do have client meetings today, but so far, like the way that these shades blend so well together, so seamlessly, it's sort of like mistake proof, just how luxurious the formula is in these Byredo palettes. I prefer these palettes over the mini ones that they also come out with, just because the formula is just 10 times better. So if I have to wait for a full year, I'd rather do that. You know, I'd rather just, you know, wait. It's kind of like a mothership, you know, you just wait for the full year to get these, but for some reason it's like earlier than expected. But you know, I'm not mad about, like, I'm curious about, you know, about the curation and the release, you know, but I am not complaining with that. And burnt umbre is perfect. It's easy to build up the intensity of the shade, and it blends pretty easily, I will say. Now, these palettes only house maybe like 2 mattes, especially with this one, there's only 2 mattes. And I think the matte choice for the shades were really really spot on, because you have one that's like kind of like a brown you know, type of shade, and then you have one that is more of like a bark, very like kind of leaning towards black of like a brown, but not really. And so you have a choice on whether or not if you want like deeper eye looks that have more intensity, or you can just chill and, you know, not be dramatic with your eye look. So with that, they made a wonderful choice with curating and figuring out what mattes they wanted to use for this palette. Also, these mattes kind of are pretty smooth, as always, because they have like their cream to powder formulation, right? So it's really easy to blend, to pick up and do like a light tap, and just build the intensity. Take your time, because these shades tend to blend themselves very nicely. All right, so we have that down. And then now I do eventually want to go in with the brown matte again, but I think I'm fine for now. We're going to move on to another shade. I don't know if I want to try, obviously we might try Painted Horizon again, which is that golden shimmer in the first row. But then there's also Vesuvius Veil, which is a metallic, and Blurred Sky, which is also metallic. It's kind of like a pastel silver type of shade, very like pastel leaning metallic. So that might be interesting to put actually for this look, and then end with Painted Horizon. I think that might be a good choice. So let me put on my glitter primer and we can get started on that. I don't want it to be too crazy because again, I do have, you know, client meetings. I don't want to be too crazy, which is why I did the lip first and went with a more of a, you know, neutral, natural type of lip that can go with any look for this, because I just wasn't sure what kind of look I would come up with. But this palette may not look like you can do all different kinds of like looks, but it definitely is. Like, you can do all different kinds of looks. Like, you can be dramatic, be grunge, be neutral, be soft. It's just a great curation. So I'm gonna go in with Blurred Sky, and it looks like this. So it's like a metallic leaning pastel blue silver type of shade. And I'm gonna put that on my eyelid, a little bit closer to the matte, but not so much. Oh, look at that. The intensity is amazing. Now you will get fallout with these, so it's great to apply something on the lid where the shimmers, the metallics can stick to, because sometimes they do have a mind on their own, and it's just because they're like very soft and silky. But yeah, this is a good choice. This is really a gorgeous color, actually. I'm gonna do it on the other side, moving it a little bit closer to the matte. You can create so many one and done looks, honestly, with this palette. Yeah, this is just gorgeous. You can build up the intensity if you wanted to by applying more, or you can do a thin layer of this shade, or any shade like this, really, especially the more vibrant colors. All right, next we are going to go in with Painted Horizon. I think it's Painted Horizon. Is it Painted Horizon? Wait a minute. Where are my notes? Where are my notes? Because I wrote it down. Yeah. Painted Horizon, which is a shimmer. So it's not a metallic. This one that I put on first is a metallic. And then we're gonna place it right on the inner corner. And I will go back in with a brush to kind of clean it up. But just like gorgeous. Like you can create so many like amazing looks with this. One thing about their palettes that I love is how creative you can get with their color story, and you know, with the different finishes that they provide for, you know, their bigger palettes. Just having so much fun. It didn't take that long for me to like really figure out what kind of look I was going. And honestly, if you focus on like each row, you can probably come up with like amazing looks too. Like gorgeous. I'm going to get a brush so I can really clean it up a bit, and then I'll probably put something down on the lower lash line. We shall see. And this is the shade that I used in the first look. This can also, I bet this would be real pretty all over the eyelid. I hope you guys do not hear tigers. Oh my god, this is gorgeous. You know what? I'm not mad with the look that I came up with. I actually like this look. Do I want to go in on the lower lash line? If so, what do I want to pick? I kind of want to go back in with, honestly, Painted Horizon and really get in there. Or I can pick Vesuvius Veil, which is a metallic. But I feel like a shimmer might be easier to manipulate under the eye, just because you're not going to get a lot of fallout that metallics in this formulation give you. So maybe I'll just go in just a tad bit with Painted Horizon. Just a little bit. Like, you're not gonna like fully see it, but it just might be a good finish touch to it. Or if like you really wanted to grunge it up, you can put on burnt umbre and then put Painted Horizon on top. I wonder what it would look like over a black base. honestly, as you can tell, I'm having fun with this palette. So I don't have any complaints at all. All right, I think we are done with our look. Actually, I'm going to put on mascara and close out the video and give you my final thoughts on look number 2. This palette, hands down, probably in terms of inspiration and what this palette represents, probably one of the most creative ones, I think. And it's my opinion. Again, Mineral Escapes is going to be my favorite one, but like the story behind the curation and how they formulated and, you know, laid out the shades in this format was very much intentional. For someone who, again, loves landscapes and loves oil paintings and is into landscape artists during the time of like the 1800s, during Romanticism and Impressionism, and how they would travel from place to place just to go to like a historical, you know, area of a different country just to paint landscapes and to document the changes of a landscape, whether if it was changing the difference between, you know, lights and shadows and how that could be affected by, you know, the weather. Historical moments like shipwreckages or typhoons or snowstorms in the ocean. This is absolutely stunning, in the behind the scenes type of story behind the curation is very inspirational. I had so much fun playing with this palette the second time. I might continue to like use this palette and, you know, maybe post other looks that I will come up with, but I will be doing a third look as well on YouTube. The first look should already be up. And yeah, let me know if you like the whole separate 3 looks, or if you prefer it to be all in one video. I feel like just for editing and timing purposes, just like getting things up makes it easier for me to just create, you know, one look, upload that out, do another look, upload that out separately. But let me know what you think about this palette. Are you going to end up getting it? Because it is still available on their website. The only thing that I love about Byredo is the fact that they give you a lot more choices, a lot more colors, and a lot more, you know, finishes. I am not the one to really, you know, judge a palette if they have fewer mattes, because I have blends. I have the Blend Bunny palette that has all mattes. I can just pick one and choose one. I have the all matte Blend Bunny palette that they did with Mattifying. That also has beautiful mattes that I can dig into. I am not afraid to involve like a palette that can be a companion palette into a look that I want to create. I think, especially for me in my collection, I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes that I can honestly choose from. I can choose a matte if like the matte in this palette is something that I'm not feeling using today. Like, it's totally fine for me. But again, you know, sometimes there's just like a need to have like multiple mattes and multiple, you know, formulas and different shades and things like that. And if that's the case, this palette is just not for you. And again, that's totally fine. But like in this curation and their 18 shade palettes, you're going to get maybe like 2 mattes, 2, 3 if you're lucky. But again, I have no complaints. It performed well, as it should be, as it's done previously with the other palettes that they came up with. There is no dud in sight. I feel like you can create all different kinds of looks. You could be dramatic, you could be soft, you can have glam looks. It's just, honestly, like the choices that they pick for the color story and the finishes was really spot on and amazing. So I'm keeping mine. I had fun. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. I am looking forward to what other color stories they will come up with. And I'm on the lookout for the co-creative director to see if he, you know, like if he's going to be involved in other color stories, because this one is honestly amazing color story, amazing story behind it, and very inspirational. And with that, I will leave you with look number 2 of the Vesuvio palette from Byredo. If you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm mainly active, and that's also when you'll know that I've uploaded a video. Also, if you're gonna subscribe, please hit that bell too, because that's how you are notified when I'm going to upload, or when I've uploaded an actual video or done like a community post. Again, I also have a Substack. That will be where my new home for my blog is going to be at. So if you also have fungal acne, if you are interested in skincare, if you are interested in a makeup that is fungal acne safe and safe for you to use, then definitely give it a follow. Check me out on Substack, where I give reviews. I try to post once a month. I do have a 9 to 5, but what I post is very extensive, and it takes a lot of time curating and giving final thoughts on the topics that I'm talking about. I do reviews, but mainly it's mostly a list of, fungal acne safe products, what their finishes are, how I feel about them, kind of like a, review on the things that I am actually using. So if that is interest to you, by all means, please also, you can find me on Substack and subscribe, follow, check me out over there as well. And with that, remember to love yourself, be kind to yourself, and love your skin. And I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.